The UN's climate science body says human activity, primarily the production of atmospheric carbon dioxide from the burning of fossil fuels, has driven global warming at a rate that is unprecedented in the last 2,000 years. In a report released earlier on Monday, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says that if the current warming continues, the Earth will exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius warming target and reach 2 degrees Celsius by 2050. This will further intensify the severity of extreme weather that is currently being blamed for devastating floods and destructive wildfires, among other catastrophes. This is the first major scientific review since 2013.
Climate change is accelerating quite fast, actually, now, because we are not being able to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So basically, we heated up the planet by 1.1 degrees already. And probably we're gonna reach 1.5 degrees within this decade. So basically, this is a strong message that we are changing the climate in an irreversible way. So basically, we are damaging the climate in such a way for the next generations that this will certainly make the socioeconomic difficulties in the future much worse than in our generation.
We're now joined via Zoom from Nairobi by Charity Migwi, the regional campaigner of 350africa.org. Charity, it's a pleasure having you tonight. So the report says we're likely to cross the threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2040. We are already experiencing weather extremes, and yet currently we are at 1.1 degrees Celsius. Should it get to that 1.5 limit, what are we likely to see?
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I actually seriously hope that we don't get to that point, because it will be catastrophic. What I think the report gives us today is a warning so that we can act, because the reality is, if we do not act, we're likely to see severe climate impacts, some of which we're already experiencing right now. So it's bound to be even worse than what we are seeing now. And we're talking about not only these impacts being experienced in Africa, but also beyond. So more places across the globe will most definitely experience adverse climate impact. And I think we have already been seeing this, especially as we have seen record high temperatures in the northern west part of the US, and extreme flooding events happening in Europe. So it's not only Africa that is going to experience adverse weather impacts. I think it's going to cut across the globe, and it's going to be severe. And the report says that we need to act now. So it's really a warning. So I am very optimistic that if we act according to what the report says, that we will not get to that point.
Right. So the report also says that 1.5 degrees Celsius will be reached by 2040 in all scenarios. That is just 19 years from now. So realistically speaking, can these emission levels be reduced to below that limit in that time frame?
I think it's possible, because we already know the solution, and the solution means cutting back on carbon emissions. And even so, even if we do reach we do reach that 1.5 beyond all scenarios, as the report says, I think it will not still be as bad as if we keep on continuing emitting a carbon. So the point is that we need to cut our emissions. We need to cut our emissions now, so that we can just be below the cap, or just at the cap of 1.5, so that we don't get to a point of no return in terms of adverse climate impact.
And the biggest challenge for governments has always been balancing the need for development and reducing carbon emissions. How can that balance be achieved?
I think one that is a false problem that has always been created by fossil fuel industries. I think we are not seeing the potential of renewable energy. If at all, we are only looking at fossil fuels as the solution to development, because the reality and the truth is that there's a lot of potential in the renewable energy sector. A lot of clean jobs can be explored, and much more than what the fossil fuel industry is currently offering. And if you look at the impacts that fossil fuels are creating right now, displacement of people, destruction of environment, and causing climate impacts, that is sort of a reverse on development. And with renewable energy, you don't get to experience such negative impacts on environment, on people's lives, on climate. So in reality, it's not really about a balance. It's actually just about seeing the potential of clean renewable energy, which is actually the real solution to development.
Okay, so we do know that almost every nation on Earth signed up to the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement in 2015. That is huge commitment to tackle climate change. So as we gear up for COP26, Global Climate Summit, that's happening in November, 3 months from now, what commitments are you hoping to see from government heads and stakeholders?
Yeah, one is that we hope that the fossil fuel industry will have a plan to have a just transition away from fossil fuels. They do have the potential to be early adopters of renewable energy and just phase out fossil fuels, because in reality we don't need any more. Um, and we also need finance institutions to stop channeling funds to these destructive industries, and instead channel those funds to clean renewable energy forms of sources, so that they can boost the development, as you see, for the countries. And also, we need the governments to stop issuing licenses and approving concessions for uh, fossil fuel exploration in their countries. And beyond that, we also need the developed countries to honor their commitments in terms of financially supporting developing nations to deal with the impacts of climate change, and also just to address severe impacts in terms of adaptation and mitigation. So that is what I would really like to see as we go forward to COP26.
All right, Charity Migwi, we appreciate you talking to us tonight. Thank you very much.